So got the floor patchwork quilt all welded in. Now an hour or so of blending all those welds. Put the earphones in and away I go. So flip the cab upside down again. We're on the passenger side floor repair. Got that flooring section in, the patchwork quilt, and now the procedure is to cut the outer rocker and put that flange back on that floor, then put a new rocker back in, one of those. Got the exterior rocker tacked on, drilled out the plug welds for where the floor meets it. Probably twice as many plug welds as what there were spot welds before, but anyway. We try to improve things where we can. So getting there with that. It's coming together really well. Looking good. Well, at last, got the passenger side floor in, all cleaned up. Ready for some epoxy primer, and then that is the end of the floor repairs. Thank God for that. So the cab is coming together nicely. So got the floor just one coat of epoxy primer on it, just to seal it all up. Underneath as well. So now the cab is set back up on the garage floor. It's perfectly level both ways. I've taken this brace off this door. It moved 1 mil. It was 830 mil from the top across here to here, and now it's 829, which 1 mil on the fitment of these things is it's okay. I could push it back out, I think, but anyway, I'm prepared to leave it. So now the deal is to cut this out. I'm going to cut it right along the top there, on that top surface. I'll leave myself, I don't know, 3 or 4 mil. So I'm welding it on the flat, and the little angle will give it the maximum amount of strength to stop any distortion on this face. And then unpick from underneath, drill all those spots out, and so take off that whole angled section, because it's rusted. And you can see, it's hard to see, but it's rusted all underneath there as well. So I've got a piece of the donor cab, which externally looks okay from underneath. So same thing, on unpick all the spots there, cut it off the top in the same position, and I'll see how we go. This looks all right. That's got the plastic still in it, but all these other the cab locators, or upper rear section locators, the little pipe section there's all intact. I think this one will be okay. The thing is which one to do first, but I think I'll cut this section off, the donor, clean it all up, and then at least I know what I've got, and then I'll cut the corresponding piece off my cab. I'm debating whether to split the two pieces here, so then I can, if I drill all those spots out, then I can separate this little top angle section. So when I'm welding it along there, if I do get any distortion, I'll be able to get a dolly in from underneath it and dolly that back flat. Whereas if I put the whole box section in, there's no access to inside. And my experience is when I weld a full length like that, I get a bit of distortion. So I'm too bloody impatient. So that's what's going through my head. Anyway, we'll see how we go. It is coming along. So I started working on removing this back panel. So right now I'm drilling out all the spot welds. So that's wide, so I'm going to drill them out all the way along. I've just gone through and started them all with like a 1/8 drill, a 3.2 mil, whatever you want to call it, just to start the spot weld like remover tool. On my drill, that little fella, everyone's seen one of them. So I'm going to pop that flange right off, or loosen that flange right off, grind the welds on the top of these, I suppose you call them stanchions, cut through the ends there, and then cut just on the inside of the radius all the way along the whole back and remove it all the way along. And that's the piece I'm going to remove, and do the same to the donor piece and put it in there. So the spot welds, yeah, I start them off with a 1/8 drill, just squirt a little bit of oil in each one to protect the spot weld remover, put it on the slowest speed possible, and it's 10 seconds each one. I just count 1 to 10, that's it, pull it away. It's either all the way through or close enough to it'll just pull off when I grind it off. So that's where I'm at. So I drilled all the spot welds out right along the bottom, that bottom flange on that, whatever you call it, where the rear cab meets. I've gone along and cut it roughly with the grinder all the way along, and now it's ready to remove. Sort of, kinda. Wait. Okay, got it. Just need a little bit of a love tap, that right now. That's it. Had to come out, and it's never going to repair that. That's all underneath. And then it was a little bit, well, it had bits on top, but actually it's worse underneath. And inside it's all pitted, and that's why I wanted to remove it like this, so I can get to the inside on the donor and just check it before I put it on. I'll be able to weld through prime it or cold gal it and then tack it. I know that the welds will burn the cold gal, but it's got to help, right? And then I'll use that chassis, the internal chassis coating stuff, and stick it in through one of the bolt holes or something, and fill that whole tube up, same as I did with that bottom tube. So I'll clean this up and then prepare the donor section to go in. Got the donor panel all cleaned up and cut off the old section. Just needs a little bit of like fitting around the edge here. I'm going to weld it right on the radius. That way I can get a good thickness of weld because it's a radius, and I should, well, I'm hoping to minimise the warpage. I just got to keep telling myself to be patient when I'm welding it. It'll be okay. I've got to get all the paint off this donor part, and then I might, I don't know, I was thinking about putting a plastic bag and vinegaring it, but I've got some rust converter stuff that you get from or KBS, one of them, and then apply that to it, just brush it on, you leave it on for, I don't know, 20 minutes or something, gets it all off, hose it off. Might give that a go. So I want to clean it right up before I put it on. The body's not too bad, what's left, it's got a little section here, a couple of holes, so I might, as usual, I'm going to patch it before I bloody repair the rust. So I might just put a little patch in there, and then start welding that bit on. Should be good. Got the body section all prepped, done my little rust repairs, ended up just putting a copper backer in and sort of plug welding the little rust bits. Lazy way to do it, it's easier. So I've just got the other section out there, just with some sulfuric acid to get rid of that surface rust, and I'll pop it in a little bit more fitting and see how we go. Just put the rear cab section on just to line it up. Had to open up the sides a little bit and put that brace in there, but I've just got it all to line up here on both sides. Got the pegs in there with the nylon bushes, and yeah, it's all lining up pretty good. So I'll just take that off, give it another tack, put it back on, just keep checking it. But yeah, progress. Righto, so got the that rust section on. I've just put the rear cab section on for just to see how I went. I had it on and off a few times, but I'm really happy with the way it matched up. It's bloody great. Fluked it. All lines up really well. So I've just got to round that edge off, because I ended up welding it right on the mitre. That way the penetration that I got will put a nice, well, it adds strength. And I took it really easy, which is hard for me. Just haven't got the patience, but took it easy, and the distortion is minimal, which is good. I thought that would all pull in, because it's like, whatever it is, 2 meters of welding. But I had the brace on there, and it sort of held it, and the cab fits on, like, it just pops straight on. It's beautiful. The only little bit I've got is here. Maybe you can see that. It's just sucked in a little bit there. There's a little hole on that side. No, you can't see it. So I might be able to just get a little quarter punch or something in there. It'll probably make it worse. Punch that out a bit. I need Arthur's help. But anyway, that's good. So another section done. So I'll keep working on it, put it in epoxy primer. And then the last part is up here. And just a little bit, this hinge I think I'll leave it, but the other one's got a little hole. I think I'll patch that. Then that's the rust card of the whole thing, which is a nice feeling, I tell you. It was bugging me, so I cut a slot in it and opened it out. I think it'll be alright now. Okay, so I think this repair is ready for primer. I've knocked back the weld. Good enough. I'm really happy with this repair. I had a bit of a plan how to do it, and it sort of worked out okay. I was a bit worried about the distortion, but it turned out really good. It's nice and flat. Probably only about 3 kilos of bog. Joking. No, I'm really happy with that. So on to the next stage. Matches up real nice. Oh, looking at that, it's not so nice, but the rubber goes in there. No, that's alright. That's good, I reckon. I'm really happy with that. So the work on, what would you call this, the bottom windscreen panel or upper windscreen panel of the tub. I cut out that back section where it rolls over the top. I cut this bottom part out. That's for it's a pedal brace underneath there. Took out wherever there was 2, 4, 6, 8 spot welds out of there. So I don't know, you can see this panel when it's all finished, so it's going to be careful here. I'm glad I left this to last. Just my lacking skills might be good enough. A lot of filing. Anyway, that's where we're at, the last piece of the tub. Got the excuse me, got the first panel tacked in there. I'll just add that little lip on the top there. I'll fully weld that, so that's what's welding the patch in. It was spot welded before, but I'll weld right on the top, and it's just, as good if not better. Then grind it all back and then just add that little lip. You can see add that little lip back in. That's what was rusted along the top there as well. So that'll be good. It'll be all done the weld through on that bracket for the pedals. Should be good. Alright, we're up to a stage which a long time ago I thought I'd never get here, but the tub is pretty much rust free. Well, not pretty much, it is rust free. So now I'm just going around checking all my welds, repairs, make sure I've done everything. I've got as much weld in there as I can, stiffen it up, and basically preparing it for epoxy primer, final epoxy primer, which is a nice feeling. I'm really happy with the way it turns out. So there she be. Cabin rust has all been taken care of. The screen panel going on there nicely. Just got it clamped. That's all good. The rear cab section, rear upper cab section fits good. I came back and it's hard to see, but I revisited that. I cut a slot along here and pumped it back up. So there's no, or very little, same as everywhere else, little gap in there. It's sitting on the nylon locators. So that's that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I think I'll just keep working on the cab section, maybe flip it back over, rub all that epoxy primer off that I've got, do a few little repairs and stuff, get it pretty, it needs a bit of dolly work, get it flat, put that in paint. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to use the black epoxy primer, and I'm just going to do it in black satin 2-pack. I don't know, there's all, you know, bitumen, rhino, all different stuff, but I'll just go back to how it was. It'll be fine. And then, yeah, get the whole thing in primer. It needs a bit of dolly work here and there, but I'm glad to sort of get to this stage. It's good. Thanks for coming along the journey.